emails, food, phone calls, made visits, messaged me. And I tell folks, quite honestly, I don't know how I would have gotten through this year without family, friends, and faith. Every card, every email raised my spirits, and I knew John and I are surrounded with love. I thought of telling you one more story about John and I, and then I decided not to, because there's always time to tell stories later. What I wanted to do instead is to repeat something from his obituary. If you want to remember John, if you want to honor John, do an act of kindness. Send an email, send a card, make a phone call, write a check, say a prayer. John tried to live unconditional love, and I invite you to try and do the same. And when you do that act of kindness, if you think of John, his spirit will reside and grow stronger in all of us. Thank you. And I'll now ask Reverend Paul Campbell to take leadership of the service.
Friends, may the friendships you make be those which endure, and all of your gray clouds may be small ones for sure. And trusting in the one to whom we all pray, may a song fill your heart every step of the way. You won't be surprised to know that the contents, the shape, the readings, the Celtic flavor, the faithful demeanor of this service reflects all things that were important to John and many more. It's an honor to be involved in this service, and I can't help but have a wee look over here at the garb. It warms my heart. First time I ever met John was at Ken's service where he was received as a candidate for ministry back in the late 80s, I think it was. And that's how I recognized John, because that's the outfit he was wearing. Always larger than life, and I don't mean that in any physical way, but in character and in presence and in wonderful company. I'm so proud to be a friend of John's, like I'm sure each of you are. And I do want to salute and acknowledge Ken and John, for Ethel and myself and others that are here, to salute your great courage, your great witness, faith, political will, and the love that you shared with each other and with us. A great influence, something to be utterly grateful for, and always impressed, and just acknowledge that how important the two of you have been to the community and beyond, Ken. Karen Douglas will be offering some music leadership now. Welcome, Karen.
I was at a meeting once. I probably was an annual meeting of the conference, and John was at my table, and I did this. And he said, "I'll keep you wee secret." It's not surprising that in singing some of John's favorite songs, we would be singing something that you probably need one of these for. So I invite you to turn in Voices United 644 to "I Was There to Hear Your Mourning Cry." And Renata will play the introduction, and I invite you to stand if you're comfortable as we sing.
I'll be there when you join your hearts as one. I'll be there to make your verses rhyme from dusk till rising sun. In the Middle Ages of your life, not too old, no longer young, I'll be there to guide you through the night, complete what I've begun. When the evening gently closes in and you shut your weary eyes, I'll be there as I have always been, with just one more surprise. I was there to hear your morning cry. I'll be there when you are old. I rejoiced the day you were baptized to see your life unfold.
We welcome Beth McLean.
The reading today is from Micah, the 8th verse. God has shown you, O mortal, what is good. And what does the Lord require of you? To act justly and to love mercy and to walk humbly with your God. May we be granted the wisdom to live these words.
Sharing of stories. We acknowledge Victorio, if he's here, I think so. Call on Jonathan Kopchuk then to offer his contribution to our time together.
Hello, everyone. My name is Jonathan Kopchuk, and I use the pronouns he, him, his. And I too identify as homosexual. There are so many things I want to say about John. He meant so much to me. I want to share a story with you. One night, coming home from school, he sat me down at the dinner table and said, I want to talk to you. I was like, okay, sure. So Abe finished his dessert, we finished our dessert, and upstairs he went, and he said to me, he reached across the table, he gave me a big hug, and says, Jonathan, I know your secret. I know you like men, and I want you to be yourself around us. He even threatened me, actually, to kick me out and said, I don't want you around here if you can't be yourself around us. Aileen had just arrived for Christmas, and she asked me, so, what's it like to be yourself? And I didn't know what to say. all of us grew closer as a family together that Christmas. And John loved cooking. I would get so excited coming home daily after school and like being able to cook with him. And he loved cooking. We all know this, right? Like, so there would be roasted chicken with potatoes, or roast beef with rice, or Bubba and Squeak, and he would always crack the joke in an English accent, you know, if you're not gonna fry it in lard, make something else. And you know, you kind of need lard to get to that temperature, otherwise the potatoes and the greens don't cook. And I only, you know, we were at the drive-through at Tim Hortons, and you know, the window goes down, and you know, the person on the intercom, hi, welcome to Tim Hortons, how can I take your order? And John was like, can I get a steeped tea, please? Okay, how would you like that, sir? Black? No, clear. And we would get to the window, and he pulled out his wallet, and the window would come open, and that'd be $4.50, please, or whatever the order was. And he politely reminded the person, you know, you serve tea clear, you know. You serve coffee black. And then he would pay for it, and he had been there, but he stepped on the gas so vigorously, he was so pissed off. There's so many memories I want to share with you. But the one that's close to me is that he taught us all, we're members of the LGBTQ+ asterisks, I don't know, that it's okay to be yourself. And there was a few of us in our family that became transgender, and a few of us are actually gay, homeless, I don't know. I just want to say thank you, John, for being the person you are and allowing all of us to feel safe in our skin and show us that we can be loved and cared for and just feel safe for once. A lot of us came from abusive backgrounds, and our parents didn't really accept us for who we are. But John and Ken really made sure that the love will always be there.
I was invited to meet John and Ken over tea to decide if I wanted to live with them as my foster parents. I had never been given a choice like that before. It was always, you're going here to live with these people, or going to this place, and so on. After meeting with them, I decided, yes, I wanted to live with them. And that was one of the best decisions I made. Usually, I make quite the opposite ones. John was truly a great person, and the world is a little less light without him in it. I'm very thankful that our paths crossed and the time that we spent together as family. You will always be my mother, and I will miss you greatly. Thank you for being there and for everything you did for me. I'm sorry that I could not repay you for everything you have done, and hope that you know that I love you very much. Thank you, Jamie and Chris. And then the next is from Frank. Frank Nasigamana. And I believe, Frank, that you are watching, so hello. Frank's first language is sign language, and his second language is written English. And by the magic of TTY, we have your message here. John, I am heartbroken without him. I will meet him in heaven. You know I love his cooking. He is skilled as a cook. I remember his cooking every time in our home. He is a very sweet person, a very humble, kind person. I like him teaching me to practice driving my first time. He is awesome. I will never forget about him, and I'm sure I will visit to honor his funeral when I'm released out of jail. Maybe I'm not ready to say goodbye to John. Sleep in peace. I love him always and Ken. I am crying a bit because I miss him. Thank you, Frank. Love you. Oh, that. So I have a few memories I want to share, limiting them to a handful. My first memory of meeting John, I had just moved to Winnipeg, and through a friend of a friend, I'd found an apartment in Cecil Court on Furby Street. The morning after I moved in, I opened the front door. The door of the apartment opposite was open, and a man was polishing the brass door plate. John's initial look of slight weariness of an unknown new neighbor, perhaps, changed into a wide smile of greeting. And for me, there's a whole other story of how small decisions can alter your life. What if I had said no to that particular apartment? I'd looked at several. My life might have been quite a little bit less bright had I not met Ken and John there. And because of COVID, it was about 2 years ago almost, my last visual memory of John was looking into the kitchen at 125 Furby Street to say goodbye as I left from a visit to return back to Suluk. John was sitting on a chair in front of the Aga, and I'm sure you all know how important the Aga was for John, overseeing the creation of one of those delicious smelling items for their supper. And he said, "Goodbye, my love," and again a beautiful smile. Two images of domestic bliss, and I'll come back to those later. But as well as the moments of home and happiness, John led a life with fulfilling careers in social work and the church, with passion for music and gardens, with the love of his life, Ken, and with friends and family, including wonderful foster children. John also dealt with many challenges in private and public life. Because you all know John too, you know both the challenges he dealt with and the gifts he brought to his life. John faced everything with grace and courage, with a sharp wit and a certain aplomb. One memory, John came to my apartment asking to use the phone. After he'd finished, he slumped with a despairing look into a chair. "What's wrong with your phone?" I asked. Well, someone had called and left a tape recording of very ugly homophobic hatred running, and he said, every time I pick up the phone, it's still there. They blocked the phone, and it's happened before. Ken and John's phone was, amongst other things, the public number for Dignity Canada. How often do these things happen? I asked. Oh, 2 or 3 times a week, he said. And at that point, being somewhat naive, I had no idea of the level of abuse leveled at the LGBTQ2SQ community. A fun memory, John and I were the music section for a play put on by, I think, Townhouse 9 at the Manitoba Youth Theatre. The play was called Max the Eater, a story of a young boy who overate. John was on his harp and I was playing an oboe, and we became Max's stomach squealing and wailing with rippling explosions of sound, protesting the amount of not very healthy food that he had crammed into it. We had a great time improvising the gruesome sounds. John was in social work when I started working in community ministry, and we found that we had several folks that we knew in common that we both worked with. And I found John's caring and very accurate assessment of people's lives helpful. I will always remember John's very insightful sermons, and I will treasure my recollections of John's time in his worship services where he engaged the children. He was absolutely brilliant at that. And Paul mentioned John's love of Celtic spirituality, and I was very lucky to be with John on a trip that included a week on the island of Iona, on the west coast of Scotland. John very much appreciated both the history of the Abbey and its current commitment to worldwide community dedicated to justice, human rights, and the environment. And it was so good to share time with him there, daily worship in the Abbey, singing to the seals on the beach, a boat ride to see the puffins and staffa, and a very scary glucose low on the boat during the return trip after John had climbed 500 feet to the top of the island where the puffins nest on rather a slim breakfast. But I want to come back now to those two images of domestic bliss. For me, they speak of the radical welcoming and hospitality that was a gift that John had in spades, that he shared in all parts of his life, as you've already heard. John was able to create a home for himself and Ken, for their amazing foster family, for friends and colleagues, a home that provided respect, unconditional love, and stability that allowed and encouraged us all to be who we needed to be. I saw that generous spirit at work when he would gather children around him at church and draw them in and engage them in the story. And when John was office administrator at Young, his sense of hospitality was vital in drawing the original 6 rather diverse groups that were part of the newly formed Crossroads. He had the ability to create a safe place where differences could be aired and good relationships developed. I know, of course, there were situations when peaceful outcomes did not materialize, and John did have moments of frustration and outrage. But I believe that John lived out from the depth of his heart the best of the biblical tradition of welcoming strangers and of unearthing those angels in disguise. We all need to be loved and found in this way. John and Ken have been my brothers by other mothers for some 40 years, so thank you, Donna and Nora, and also Audrey. Thank you, Ken, for sharing your life with John and your children with me. And to all of you, my fondest love. John liked to speak of the thin places, a Celtic spiritual theme describing those places and times when this life and the spirit world connect. So in those thin places, John, we'll see you again with much love. Love you forever.
Thank you to Jonathan and Aileen very much. And music now to be contributed by Margot Harding. And Ken tells me John just loves this song. So, welcome.
Softly and tenderly, Jesus is calling, calling for you and for me. Patiently, Jesus is waiting watching for you and for me. Come home, come home. You who are weary, come home. Earnestly, tenderly, Jesus is calling, calling, oh sinner, come home. Why should we tarry when Jesus is pleading, pleading for you and for me? Why should we linger and heed not his mercies, mercies for you and for me? Come home, come home. Ye who are weary, come home. Earnestly, tenderly, Jesus is calling, calling, oh sinner, come home. Oh, for the wonderful love he has promised, promised for you and for me. Though we have sinned, he has mercy and pardon, pardon for you and for me. Come home, come home. Ye who are weary, come home. Earnestly, tenderly, Jesus is calling, calling, oh sinner, come home.
Beth McLean will now offer a reading.
A reading from St. Julian of Norwich. Jesus did not say, "You will never have a rough passage. You will never be overstrained. You will never feel uncomfortable." But he did say, "You will never be overcome. All shall be well, and all shall be well, and all manner of thing shall be well."
Victoria, would you like to come and offer your reflections about John? No, you can take it off. Interrupt your
Look at this. Hello, people. It's me, Vittorio. Very good friend of John's for many, many years, and his personal hairdresser and friend, both. Well, he's gone, unfortunately, but you know what? He's still alive in our hearts and our minds. He's never gone. He's right here in this room somewhere watching everything we're doing and saying stuff, so. But yeah, he was a good guy to know, sweetest guy in the world. Always kind, always a good thing to say about everyone, no matter what. And what can I say except, wow. And yeah, I'm surprised that Ken had him cremated. You know, they dressed him up as Divine, put a big run of makeup on him, you know, like Divine. They've been fabulous. Yeah. Good fun. I love that plan. It's good gestures. I do these movies. I think it was fabulous. Joe, yeah. putting his face up, you know, glamour and all that stuff, looked perfect. But no, Swordsman, oy vey. Ken, shame on you. Putz. Yeah, I was a hairdresser for many years, and he actually had a good sense of humor too. One time I was at his house, and Ken wasn't there, but I was there with John because I saw him on Tuesday every couple of weeks. And Ken was on the computer, we were talking, and I came on the computer, and John goes, "Well, it's over, Ken. Your toes here now." I said, "Yeah, you're stuffing along, get out of your bum, don't come back. I'm human right, you're human, buddy, you're mine." Pretty funny, but, oh, it's fun, so just laugh, come on. Oh, you crowd stinks. But he was the nicest guy in the world, man. A good friend. I'm sorry he's gone, but the way you come and you go, and what you do in this life that counts the most, you know. Do good, be good is what I say to everyone. And live and learn every day of your life. Never stop learning ever, no matter what age is. You just keep learning. If you think you know everything, you don't, so cut the crap. And yeah, I miss him. I'm gonna miss him forever, and nothing can bring him back, but I said he's in our hearts and our minds forever, so keep that in mind. He's in here, he's in here. Somewhere in there, I see him over there. Oh, he's over there, see, he's right there. No. Can't smile. Be French. It's over. Thanks for letting me speak, and have a good day, kids, and behave. But no fun. Il bon voyage. As San Fosfor Milano. Yeah. Ta baby ta, and blah blah blah. Peace and long prosper. And thank you.
Thank you, Victoria. Heather Robbins, would you come forward now and offer your special poem?
I just wanted to say that, no, I didn't want to say I'm short, but I am. I just wanted to say that John and Beth and I were colleagues at Selkirk Presbytery, and we became great friends. And we're honored to be asked to read today. I'm reading this poem called Merger Poem by Judy Chicago, and it is used with permission. And then all that has divided us will merge. And then compassion will be wedded to power. And then softness will come to a world that is harsh and unkind. And then both men and women will be gentle. And then both women and men will be strong. And then no person will be subject to another's will. And then all will be rich and free and varied. And then the greed of some will give way to the needs of many. And then all will share equally in the earth's abundance. And then all will care for the sick and the weak and the old. And then all will nourish the young. And then all will cherish life's creatures. And then everywhere will be called Eden once again.
Music offered by Julie and Tony.
Dear Ken and family, I was deeply saddened when I heard that John had passed away suddenly. I wanted to give you a gift of music. I chose 6 of John's favorite pieces of music, and my husband Tony will join me on guitar for The Gift of Love, Pachelbel's Canon in D, The Grenadier and the Lady, Early One Morning, and Long Before the Night. I chose these pieces because John loved them so much, and we never got tired of playing them together. He played so many weddings that his partner Ken said, "John played more weddings than he appreciated his ministry." John was very passionate about music and the harp. We would often get together to play new pieces he discovered, or just play some of our favorite tunes. We would usually end our practice session with early one morning, where some of you may know it as the friendly giant theme. John would always play a harp flourish at the end, and we would just have a great laugh. It was awesome. A favorite memory was when Oscar, John's beloved pet cockatoo, burst into his Elmo impersonation while John and I were playing Pachelbel's canon for our respective bride and groom. Well, we all laughed hysterically, and John and I were really tired to play the wedding. But thank you, Oscar. John and I were playing an outdoor wedding on the patio at a golf course. A worker suddenly decided she needed to vacuum the patio. John looked at her and boldly said in a British accent, "Madam, this is not the time to be vacuuming." She looked at him and left immediately. John and I had many talks over tea about music, parenting, cooking, and, as Ken says, all things British. He was a true gentleman, a consummate professional, and had the kindest heart. But most of all, he was my friend. I loved
Everyone, there will be a reception to follow at the back of the sanctuary, so we can move around a bit and be aware of the necessity for respectful distancing, but there's some food and tea and so on, so please stay and greet one another as you may. Also in the hall, I don't know whether they're going to bring them out. In the hallway, there are teacups spread out, but one belonged to John and Ken, and you're very much encouraged to take one home with you, and there's even some tea bags I noticed with a hint that next time you use the cup, just think of Ken and John. There will be an interment later today involving the family and the deposit of John's remains. We're going to offer a blessing at the end of our time, after which I'll invite you to stand for that in a second. But at the end of the blessing, if you'd sit again, there will be a video of the Rainbow Chorus, Rainbow Harmony Project, We Rise Again. So if you'd stand, please, if you're able. May this blessing bless all of you this day. Deep peace of the running wave to you. Deep peace of the flowing air to you. Deep peace of the quiet earth to you. Deep peace of the shining stars to you. May the road rise up to meet you. May the wind be always at your back. May the sunshine warm upon your face. The rains fall soft upon your fields. And until we meet again, may God hold you in the palm of their hand.